Welcome to the recap of The Gilded Age Season 2. In 1883, Easter Sunday highlights contrasts. The Scots attend a black Philadelphia congregation while elites like the Esters worship at St. Thomas Episcopal, led by new rector Reverend Luke. Agnes's widowed nephew, Dashiell Montgomery, arrives in New York with daughter Frances. Snubbed by Mrs. Esther, Bertha promotes the Metropolitan Opera to empower nouveau riche, aiming to later draw old money. Oscar, bloodied after a gay encounter, proposes to Gladys for wealth and heirs while hiding his double life. At Bertha's dinner, a surprise opera singer signals her growing influence. Gladys refuses Newport until resolving Oscar's proposal, but George urges her to marry for love, not to escape Bertha. Marian defies Agnes by continuing her art classes, while Agnes orders Armstrong to treat Peggy respectfully upon her return. In Newport, Larry begins a romance with widow Susan Blaine during her new renovation, angering Bertha. Aurora Fane pushes Marian toward Edward Morgan, a dull drunk. The Russells are stunned when Bertha's ex-mate Turner reappears as Mrs. Enid Winterton. The opera war reaches new heights as Bertha pressures society to choose between the Met and Mrs. Esther's Academy, with Agnes reluctantly aiding Mrs. Esther's cause. Bertha prepares for the Duke of Buckingham's visit while Marian remains uncertain about Dashiell's courtship. George's attempted bribe of Union leader Henderson fails, triggering labor tensions. A confrontation erupts when Mrs. Winterton reveals her past encounter with George. Bertha believes his innocence but rages at his secrecy. Meanwhile, Peggy's coverage of a Tuskegee school opening worries her parents about Southern racism. Ada's discreet meetings with Reverend Forte hint a growing affection. Bertha tours the unfinished Met with Aurora Fane and Mrs. Winterton to sell boxes, despite a brief construction delay. When Mrs. Esther demands Mr. Winterton surrender his academy box over his wife's past, he defects to the Met. At dinner, Bertha manipulates seating to secure the Duke of Buckingham's attention and his Newport stay, enraging the outmaneuvered Mrs. Winterton. Meanwhile, Peggy stays with Booker T. Washington in Tuskegee and George plots with industrialists to crush labor strikes. The Russells' dinner for the Duke of Buckingham is nearly sabotaged by two scheming servants, but Watson and Church intervene just in time, foiling Mrs. Winterton's plot to humiliate Bertha. Ultimately, Agnes softens and attends Ada and Forte's wedding. Mrs. Winterton demands Bertha's prized Met opera box as payment for her support. Meanwhile, Bannister reconciles with Church after discovering his drunkenness stemmed from grief over his late wife's death anniversary. Oscar doubles down on Crowther's railway investment instead of cashing out. Peggy recruits Fortune to probe racist schools' closures. George secretly bankrolls the Met's completion and strong-arms Gilbert into giving Bertha the center box, thwarting Mrs. Winterton. Bertha plans to showcase the Duke in her box at the opening. A blindsided Marian accepts Dashiell's public proposal. George nearly deploys violence against strikers but opts for negotiations at the 11th hour. After granting labor concessions, George secretly plots to dismantle the Steel Workers' Union. Mrs. Esther attempts to lure Bertha back to the academy with an opera box offer, but George, suspecting sabotage, urges her to remain loyal at the Met. Meanwhile, black school administrators consider integrating Irish teachers to attract poor white students and prevent closures. As Agnes prepares Marian's wedding, Oscar discovers both Maud Beaton and his railroad investment have vanished with Mr. Crowther, leaving the Van Ryn fortune nearly depleted. In brighter news, Watson reunites with daughter Flora, who assures him of his permanent place in her family, while Bannister secures Jack's guild membership, enabling his alarm clock patent approval. On his deathbed, Luke receives Agnes's gratitude for Ada's happiness. In October 1883, New York's elite face an opera showdown. The Van Ryn women prepare to sell their home following Oscar's ruinous financial loss until Ada discovers Luke's hidden wealth, which saves them. Marian breaks off her engagement to Dashiell over incompatibility and shares a kiss with Larry after his historic Met opening, where Bertha's victory is sealed as crowds abandon the near-empty academy. The black schools escape closure through activist efforts. Jack's patented clock leads to a business proposal from Larry, and both Watson and Peggy leave their positions. Mrs. Winterton fumes over losing her box while Bertha rewards staff with Met tickets. The night transforms fortunes, relationships, and social hierarchies in one sweeping climax. Thank you for watching the recap. Please hit the like and subscribe to our channel as that motivates us to bring more recaps for you.